Last week we saw a round that stunned everyone with around Australia, the first race of GP2. This week though, we're back in the desert, as my headphones pop, but we're back in the desert here in Bahrain, and I'm very excited for this week. My name is JB and welcome to SpeedForce Racing. So, this is going to be a fun time tonight. I'm going to be thrilled to watch all of these drivers go up, as I remember to spectate before I do anything. Let's run through the team championship, drivers championship, sorry, because the team championships haven't been uploaded as of yet. They should be uploaded after this race tonight. Right now in the lead is race 1, the winner, T. Jonas, with 25 points. Well done to T, he's doing amazing. Then it's Diabush, who got second. Then it's Farfborough, who got third. Good showing for those two who came out on their first goes last week. Then it's Lienel in fourth. Then Smelly Badger in fifth. Then it's then that's it. We only had 5 finishes last week, because we only had 10 races, and unfortunately Australia claimed its victims. So, little bit of gardening news. We have a new driver with us tonight. We have my good friend Zippo, who normally I see up in the comments box, but he has joined us tonight to have a test to see if he's willing or not to race here in SpeedForce Racing. So good luck to him. He's down in Toro Rosso. We'll have a nose at him later on in the session, but still, tonight is going to be a good time. If you're new to SpeedForce Racing, welcome. This is what I do. I sit here and I talk for about 2 hours of roughly about Formula 1, and a few bits of pop culture, if you feel like knowing. I have the chat open on my tablet right next to me. So, hashtag AskJB is open. If you feel like having a nose at me, ask me any question. I'm going to do the same joke as I did last time, which is if you're going to ask my cup size, I won't tell you yet. Maybe at the last race I will. So, tonight we have Morad joining us for the first time ever. So congratulations, Morad, on your GP2 drive. Welcome to SpeedForce Racing. He's a pretty good driver from what I saw, and he's going to do a good job, I think, tonight. He's driving the Ferrari in his full-time seat. So he went straight to the Scuderia, and it's going to be a fun time. If I do complain and wince a bit about halfway through the stream a few times, the fact that I pulled my back out earlier as I got off the settee, as you do, and I did my knee in as well. Oh, Bahrain! Bahrain is a brilliant circuit, and I love this track so much. I arguably should be the season opener. Always gives up thrilling racing, as it did this year in Formula 1. But more importantly, we have SpeedForce Racing, and tonight 2 races here. And why is it daylight? I don't know. This might be one where we get a fair few messages saying, "Hey, why is it daylight?" I thought it was night time around here. Okay, I'm having a moment. Let's have a look. Let's put the lap data on, put these on, and take those off, and we will sit here and fiddle. So, who's the driver that's going to blink first? Or are most people going to go, "Hang on, why is it daytime?" I don't know, but it's more fun. Hello there to Say Lawrence, a friend of mine who I will only call Say Lawrence. As we see a Renault coming out of the pit lane, I'm going to take the assumption that is Racing Punch. It is not, so it's S. Graham. S. Graham is the first driver on track, and I think there is a Sauber following him, as that sounds like we have an engine glitch with the Renault. Is it an engine glitch with the Renault, as I'm trying to mash my button to find out? It is an engine glitch with the Renault. Oh dearie me. Who's the next driver out on track? Who is it? Who is it? That is Gaming Things in the Force India. So congratulations, Gaming Things, on being the second person out on track. Hello to everyone who has joined us tonight here for SFR. Obviously, later on tonight, we're going to have the Premier Division go out racing and have their battle around the Bahrain circuit, which is a brilliant circuit, as I mentioned before. Should have been season opener, isn't though. For some strange reason, Australia can still retain that title. I'm just going to move some things around my room so I can have everything set up, so I can see everything at once. Okay, that's charging, that's all that. You see how uncoordinated I am. So, Bahrain, obviously, if we can get the engine glitch sound off the Renault, we'll do a lap around Bahrain with the Renault, but I don't think we will, as there's a fair few issues with this game still. There was a patch earlier tonight, so if any Prem drivers are watching, they haven't done the patch, go off and do it. Any drivers in general haven't done it, go off and do it. It's to fix most of the multiplayer bugs, but apparently the engine glitch hasn't been sorted yet. Fun. So, Premier Division will be on later tonight, just after this stream, after I had a quick run downstairs and get a drink, as I normally do. But here in GP2 is where we focus and lie ahead as we watch the GP2 drivers go at it now for qualifying. So most drivers going for soft tyres versus the super soft tyres as we try and deal with the engine noise. I'm going to try and turn up my voice a little bit more so you can ignore me. Try and ignore the engine note sound. If it gets too much, I believe I'll switch down to gaming things and watch that. But taking turn 1 and 2 pretty nicely. This is obviously straight where Nico Rosberg decided to make some audacious defending moves, which arguably shouldn't be done. Normally you'd see that move done by Max Verstappen. Into Sector 2 now. I love Sector 2 around here, but on this game it's so much more difficult. I often spin out and have a snap of oversteer, snap of understeer, and end up over there in that wall on the right. But no such luck today. So, taking it around to arguably one of the trickiest braking zones in Formula 1. Braking hard, trying not to mess up, trying not to lock up, drifting wide a little bit on... so where are we? Whose car are we on? I'm having a moment. It'd be Smelly Badger's car. Sorry, absolutely having a blonde moment tonight. Braking hard into this corner, wanting to make sure that you don't muck up the entry. As my brain literally goes, you know what, his name's up in the corner and I still ignored it. Seemed to reasonably tight lap, pretty standard from the Renaults. They seem to be right up there this season. Obviously, T. Jonas already out on a lap race, one winner, and he's going to be interesting. He's going to be one to watch tonight, especially with two new guys, Invader Zippo and Morad, coming into this league to see how they can do on the first race of that. So Smelly Badger sets the pace with 128.8, and here comes Gaming Things in the Mercedes Powered Force India to go faster with 128.5. Good lap from Gamey himself. Sector 2 we have yellow flags. Sector 2 and 3 we have yellow flags as T. Jonas, race 1 winner, only goes for a 29.2. We will have a look at Daibush, who's about to cross the line to start his lap now. We've been through the lap, so we don't need to do that. Blood and Sanzo goes faster with 128.0. Obviously, this is only qualifying, so we don't know what's going to be happening in the race. Here is Morad, the new driver, who's wearing a whiteout helmet, reminiscent of Sebastian Vettel's helmet, but, you know, without the German stripe on the side. But he is bailing into the pit lane. Is that damage on the Ferrari? Sector 1 and 2 is Racing Part is retired. We'll see where that is in a moment. It's in Sector 3, so I'm going to jump up to, I think, Zippo's on a lap going through... No, okay. Who's on a lap going through Sector 3? We're not going to see it, I don't think. No, we're not going to see it. Ah, T. Jonas. I just remembered now. Sorry, I was commissioned to make another helmet, as I normally do, for the drivers who ask me nicely. Do ask me nicely if you want a helmet for this league, and I will provide some, maybe for another league if you ask me extra nicely and give me some nice bits. So the number 6 Sauber sporting a nice new matching helmet on that car. Pretty sexy helmet if you ask me. Very sexy. So I tried to make it match the car as best I could. It's moved up the list as one of the best helmets there, and I think Podge suffered a incident where you lost it on the auto spin curve, which is still pretty evil on this game. So is T. Jonas going to complete the lap, or is he going to bail into pit lane? Looks like he's bailing into the pit lane with this one. Yeah, he is. Let's go on board with S. Graham in the Mercedes. He's powering down to attempt to complete his qualifying lap on the super soft tyres, which is not the tyres of choice. I remember when I raced around here, I went for the soft tyres, then the super soft tyres, soft tyres, then the super soft tyres. Later on, Sector 3 yellow flags. I think this was people in the pit lane, and that's going to complete his lap and goes fastest with a 127.9. The first person to dip into the 127s. Well done, Graham. He seems to have some great pace around here tonight, as Lee now on the medium tyres is teasing us again. He's absolutely teasing us with his now red and blue helmet to match his car. A little bit more red than I would have gone for. I would have gone for predominantly blue. But, you know, that's why I'm not racing. Here's Farfborough starting his lap in the Red Bull. See how he takes turn 1 and turn 2 before we switch on to someone doing something else. Ooh, a little bit wide at turn 1, but able to snap it around into turn 3. We've got here. Daibush, who races in another league I commentate on, DM me if you want to know about league, so you can pop over and have a nose at it later on. Is still wearing his Williams helmet from that league, and he's not wearing his Ferrari helmet. Ferrari helmet for this league, which is a little unfortunate, but you know what, mate, Williams helmet does suit you. So here's Invader Zippo, the driver who is trialling a run here in SpeedForce Racing, and it helps a lot. He actually makes the tables for it. So go on, Zippo, give us some entertainment tonight. Zippo, who is feeling a bit down lately. Who cares? You're going to have a good time here tonight as you're proving it. You're currently sat in 4th place. I believe this will be an in-lap for him. He's not pushing it too hard. No DRS open. Just thought I'd give a little driver's inventory on the new Toro Rosso driver if he chooses to accept that contract from the Scuderia from the Italian teams. There is Morad coming out of the pit lane. Daibush, if you want to know what Daibush is putting in the pit lane, in the chat, just have a look at it, or I will tell you in a second. And he's saying that the Williams helmet brings out his eyes, which it probably does. So Farfborough goes 3rd, so that's a Red Bull 2-3 right now. Sector 1 yellow flags. We're going to come up to that in a minute. I believe that's just a driver letting some through. So with 10 minutes left of the session, we've got S. Graham currently sat on provisional pole ahead of Blood and Sands and Farfborough, the Red Bull pairing, very close together today as they normally are. Then it's Gamey Things and Invader Zippo, the newcomer. Then it's Smelly Badger, Peter Solheim, T. Jonas, SFR Lee only doing a lap on the medium tyres so far, who's now swapped to the soft tyres. Morad, Yuzi and Daibush haven't set laps, and unfortunately the looks of it, Racing Podge crashed out. So we're on board now with Morad, the driver who has been shafted in very quickly to the Ferrari team to not replace anyone, because I think we only have one Ferrari driver to start with. So he's pushing hard, wanting to prove himself against these guys. He's on the super soft tyres, which is arguably the tough strategy to run around here. The tyres wear quite a bit around this track. Sector 3 yellow flags. Is that going to be a flash up of someone crashing out? No, it isn't. Morad goes 5th on his first lap. Well done to Morad, but on the faster tyre, so not as quick as the guys ahead of him. Here comes Yuzi now to set a lap. Here we go. Opens DRS and crosses the line now and goes 7th on the soft tyres, which is a brilliant lap for him. Where is T. Jonas now? He's on the super soft tyres. He's pushing hard to try and get... Oh, he's gone wide there. I tell you what, that corner's unforgiving around this track. You don't want to mess that up, or he'll end up in the barriers. But here we go, coming down into the tricky braking zone. Is he going to get it right? Oh, no, he's gone very deep. But he gets the car turned around into the DRS straight. Look at that. Beautiful Sauber, shining bright. Wanted to push hard tonight. That is definitely my solo album coming out the 12th of Never, etc, etc. Okay, this is getting very interesting as S. Graham, the current provisional pole sitter, comes out of the pit lane to say that. I'm not sure why we're at daytime right now. It is starting to bug me just a little bit. I thought it would have been Q3 time. Unsure what that is. I might have had a message in the chat. Let's have a nose. My phone just exploded with a load of stuff. No, T. Jonas comes into the pit lane, not happy with that lap at all. So Daibush Daibush is the only driver not to have set a lap right now. Where's Badger? There he is. Just going to try and clear my phone of all the messages so I can tell what's happening on here if I get any messages quickly. Do apologise for this. Gamey Things, though, with a surprise twist, jumps up there and goes for a 1:27.1. That was a brilliant lap from Gamey to get that high up ahead of that. That's 8 tenths quicker than S. Graham. And Smelly Badger jumps Morad, and I think Zippo as well, and pops up into 5th place. Well done. As Yuzi retires for the session, that's the other Mercedes. I'm not sure who I can have a nose at, who that'll be. Oh, he's retired for the session on track. He thinks he can do enough from there. So the car pulls off. Morad has left the session. I think that's down to an internet connection issue. So hopefully he'll jump straight back in the session and sort everything out. Now, I believe that Peder is currently on a lap. Come on, Solheim. See what we can do. I haven't yet to question whether that is a reference to, I think, Peder Solberg, the what's it called? Rallycross driver. World Rallycross driver. I do like Rallycross. I haven't seen it for a while now. Haven't had time to watch it, to be honest. Been so focused on my Formula 1 and Formula E and a bit of IndyCar as well. Here you go, looking at my in my search history. Don't do that. But he's pushing hard on these super soft tyres, aiming to go higher at the grid. Both Saubers in 9th and 10th as of yet, with 6 minutes left to go of this qualifying session. Whoa, big oversteer moment there for the Sauber. Trying to, whoa, a little bit of lag jumping up. Trying to push hard as he can to get higher up the grid as Gaming Things comes into the pit lane. It was do it. You know what? We'll go on board with S. Graham after this lap. So the Alfa Romeo powered Sauber about to push now across the line and goes 5th. Excuse me, well done to Peter Solheim for going 5th. Here is the man currently challenging for pole position. S. Graham, who's pushing hard to try and gain back that pole position from Gamey Things that he's currently holding. T. Jonas got pole position last week. Will Graham be able to take his own pole position this week? He doesn't. He's just shy. He's getting better, but he's not there. Who else is on a lap? Dibouche is not on a lap because that's Gamey Things. There's Dibouche in the Ferrari. Dibouche pushing hard on the soft tyres, sorry, the yellow walled soft tyres, heading round car number 36. Oh, oversteer, understeer, all kinds of steer coming towards the end of a lap. DRS open now, pushing hard as he can, and he does not sit a lap. He was going to set a lap, and I'm having a moment now. I'm having an old man moment. Today has been one of those days where you just want to curl up with a nice coffee and keep going. But more importantly, we're on board with Dyer. So without the engine noise, we're going to have a look on a lap around here with 5 minutes left to go of the session. Look at that. He is pushing hard. That Williams helmet glowing in the top of that Ferrari. Not really matching the car, but you know what? You can call it a one-off helmet, mate. Burst of power from the Ferrari engine in the back there. V6 turbo spinning hard as it heads towards the trickiest braking zone, arguably the trickiest braking zone on the Formula 1 calendar. Opening DRS, now hitting the overtake button, as that will be on the steering wheel, but pushing as hard as he can to go for this win. I've just been informed it's a dry race, but to be honest, it wouldn't have been a dry race. It would have been a problem if it had been a wet race, because to be honest, it's Bahrain, and there would never have been a wet race here. I don't know why I even questioned whether it would be that. I'll have a look at the messages from the admins in a moment, as we're catching here to see where Dibouche will qualify. Dibouche obviously getting second place last week, pushing as hard as he can to get past everyone else in the qualifying session. Currently sitting in 12th. Where's he going to go? Opening DRS now, and he crosses the line and goes 7th next to his teammate Morad. Well done to Dyer. It is a dry race, tough to handle. I don't think we'd expect anything less, to be honest, from Bahrain. I tell you what, last week's winner, T. Jonas, seems to be struggling around here. Let's have a look at who's on a lap. It's Graham. He's probably on an inner lap, to be honest. No, he is going quicker. Yeah, it is a night race. I'm not sure what's happened. It might be that we're doing because we're doing this on the same day as Formula 2, as not LMP1. Sorry, I'm having a moment. As we're doing this on the same day as Prem, it might be that we're doing it during the day for GP2 and then the night for. Whoa, that's Graham, and he's lost the entire off on the Mercedes, and he's going to be frustrated because he had the pace for pole position today. He had the pace, and he is going to be punching it as an angry Scotsman in that Mercedes, and he is going to be absolutely raging in the back of that car. Oh dear, I feel for him there. Yeah, it is a night race, as I was saying, so it might be that we just put for there's a Zippo retires from the session, thinking he can do enough with 2 minutes left to go. I'm going to actually switch off his teammate now onto Dibouche because I can't stand that noise of the Honda engine going nuts. Let's just open this and have a look at the messages I've been sent. Let's see, what's this? Looking for this. Okay, that's nothing important. As Dibouche comes into the pit lane, I thought there might be something important. There's Smelly Badger, who's on a lap. Now he's pushing like absolute mad. S. Graham is going to be so frustrated. The Mercedes garage are going to be so frustrated that he has struggled with that. He's just... What happened there? He ran out of grip. So, bearing... That's unfortunate for him. As the that Renault's still got that engine glitch. That's going to be glorious for the rest of the time. So, with 2 minutes left to go of the session, Gamey Things is currently on pole position. This will be his first pole position in SFR, so I can get my words out. Then it's S. Graham right now, but that could all change down to S. Graham not being able to participate as he wrecked his car in the earlier stage of the qualifying. Then it's Blood and Sands and Farfborough in 3rd and 4th. Then 5th is Petter Solheim. 6th is our man here on screen, Smelly Badger, pushing hard in the Renault. Then is 7th and 8th for the two Ferraris, Dibouche heading the front against Morad, who I don't believe has rejoined the session yet, I'm not too sure. Then it's Zippo in his first time out P9, he thinks he can do enough with that. Then it's Yuzi, who I believe crashed himself. Crossing line now is, whoa, second place for Smelly Badger, well done Badger. You are amazing, and I'll tell you what, Gaming Things right now is in a class of his own. I think that's about 5 tenths between everyone else and Gamey, maybe just under 4 tenths. But outside the top 10 right now, we have T. Jonas, race 1 winner, going to have a nose at him. Just going to feel the pressure on top of him. Lionel, who's about to do a lap on his soft tyres, and Racing Podge, who I believe crashed earlier on in the session. So there is a driver missing tonight, and that is Jade. Jade has not joined us tonight, and that's I believe she's got a cold. So get well soon, Jade, etc, etc. Hopefully you better be watching, because you know I like to embarrass people on the stream as we watch the race 1 winner and championship leader now pushing hard to try and get higher up the grid tonight. Will Jonas be able to take his 2nd pole position of the season, and I believe his career in SpeedForce racing, as he pushes hard, and that's qualifying over. Blood and Sands. Peter Solheim goes 6th right now. He's the last improvement. Then the Fu Ferraris are in danger right now, getting pushed out. But as Smelly Badger retires from the session, he thinks he's enough of P2. Here comes T. Jonas, race 1 winner, number 18 on his car. He opens DRS, he pushes hard, crosses the line, and goes 4th. Oh, 3rd row of the grid, mate. 2nd row of the grid, sorry. 2nd row of the grid. Well done from him, but he's not safe yet, because there's a charging Red Bull on track, and that's Farfborough. We know how quick Farfborough is, but he's ducking in the pit lane, and Gaming Things goes even quicker. A 1:27.0. Brilliant lap from Gaming Things. Let's see if we can get him on camera. There he is. Brilliant lap from Gaming Things to take pole position here in Bahrain. Well done, Gamey. Oh, and that stamped it down. He has done amazing tonight to go for P1 in qualifying. Well done, Gamey. And from what I saw, there weren't many issues at all. So that's our grid now, as we're waiting for Farfborough's car to retire him. We're getting him into the pit box, etc, etc. And I am going to move all of these things out of that. But look at that. This is our man Gaming Things on pole position. There it is. It'll be confirmed in a minute. There it is. P1 on his dash. Look at that. Even quicker. And I dare say he's done a fantastic job tonight. So as you click in, I believe, no, there's no Morad tonight. No, so Morad qualified, but now will not race. So that is a free slot on the grid. And there it is. So we have Gaming Things in 1st place, taking his 1st pole position in SpeedForce Racing, ahead of Smelly Badger in 2nd. Then it's S. Graham and T. Jonas in 3rd and 4th. Then Blood and Sand and Farfborough, the Red Bull pairings, in 5th and 6th. Peter Solheim and Daibush in 7th and 8th. Morad, though he's not racing, is in 9th. Zippo is in 10th. Yuzi is in 11th. Lionel is outside the top 10 in 12th. And Racing Podge didn't set a qualifying lap. I believe Morad won't be racing down to the fact he had that incident with internet blackout, which is unfortunate, because I really would like to have seen him race tonight. So, poor qualifying from both Toro Rossos, which is a bit of a shock, because I thought that they'd be right up there tonight, but they're not. How unfortunate, but here we go. So we have a dusk race here as we head on to the formation lap. Looking there, obviously no wet tyres here at Bahrain. If it was a wet race here in Bahrain, I think everyone will call for a restart, and tell you what, I would be on for it, because I don't think Bahrain's a track that even suits a wet. Though, it would be fun to do Bahrain in the wet, just for a laugh. Maybe a one-off race that will be streamed, not too sure. Just pumping ideas out. So, is Morad back in the session is the question. It doesn't look like he is on our little list of people selecting their strategies, as usually sets off a timer for everyone else thinking, oh god, we're going to change our strategies. Why does everybody suddenly sound really posh in my head? Oh, tonight's going to be a fun one, ladies and gents. I got back pain and I've got a headache. Oh, the joys of sitting here commentating. I don't care though, because it's fun. Absolutely fun. So obviously, if you want to get involved with SpeedForce Racing, drop us a message on Facebook and I will get back to you. As we go here, green as Gaming Things for the first time ever leads us away in P1 in Bahrain here. So it's a dusk race here, but looks like it should be heading over to nighttime soon. So we're going to move up to position changes and we're going to go through the grid. Now, here's Gaming Things leading us away in P1 ahead of Smelly Badger in P2. Then it's S. Graham in P3. He was on par for a front row start, but it all went wrong at the after he crashed at the fast right-hander. Then it's T. Jonas in 4th, Blood and Sands in 5th. Farfborough, not RDB, sorry, Farfborough in 6th and Peter Solheim in 7th on the super soft tyres. Interestingly enough, don't hit him. Daibush in 8th, and it should be Morad in 9th, but he's not here. So that leaves Invader Zippo, a good free open spot, so he won't have as much cars to pass into turn 1. Then it's usually outside on the first driver, outside the top 10 on the soft tyres, fresh soft tyres, then SFR Lino on the same strategy as Farfborough is disqualified in Central of his armor, and Racing Podge in 13th, leading up the pack, leading up the rear end in that lovely Swedish coloured helmet. There, pushing hard now to make up for the mistake he made in qualifying. So let's move back up to Gamey. There he is. First pole position in SpeedForce. I don't know how many times I say it, but he's on the super soft tyres. So those tyres are going to burn out so much quicker than everyone else. Let's have a nose at who's on super soft tyres now. That's the wrong one. So the top 5 are all on super soft tyres, and Solheim and Morad, but Morad isn't here. So this should be interesting for everyone else who's running soft tyres. I think it's soft to super soft for them. I don't really know much of the strategy around here, and to be honest, I'm not bothered. I'm quite ready for the race right now. Turn 1 and 2 here are very difficult. They're the scene of many incidents as Racing Podge is disqualified in the session for, I believe, rear-ending someone, probably Nell. I'm very excited for this race tonight. Obviously, straight after this race, stay with the SpeedForce Racing YouTube channel as we will hand over to the Premier drivers to take the spin in their cars and happily try and prove themselves against try and prove themselves, see if they can do a better show than GP2 tonight. I find that difficult, but we will see. GP2 looks fantastic tonight with Gaming Things on pole position. Okay, here we go, getting ready for lights out here in Bahrain. We're on board with P2 right now because we go to 5 red lights, lights out, engine does right, and Sol. Look at that, T. John's got a brilliant start versus S. Graham, who didn't get one at all. Contact between the two Toro Rossos off the line. Oh dearie me, here comes T. John standing inside of Smelly Badger. No, he's contact with, oh no, oh big contact on stream, and oh Gamey, no, don't hit him back. Gamey, do not hit him back as T. Jonas lets him through. Here comes Farfborough as the sun beats down on the grid. Here comes T. Jonas on the inside, but he doesn't make it past, and that's going to be a big ask for all these drivers who are now going to make lap 1. This is very messy at the background. I believe that was a Red Bull going off at Blood and Sands. Blood and Sands, I believe, is spun. Let's have a look. Yeah, he has. Blood and Sands has spun and made contact with Lee Nell, I think that was. So we're going to go down to, where are we? That's on broadcast camera, clicking the wrong button. Going to go on to Gaming Things now, who's pushing hard to try and catch up to T. Jonas. He's pushing on to try and stay ahead of Farfborough. Contact! He spun Farfborough around! Oh no! No, and he's given Farfborough a stop-go penalty. This is disaster! Contact as they come back on track. Guys, calm down. It's race 2. We need some racing for the rest of the season. But this has been a very messy first lap, and honestly, it's a little bit disappointing to see from these guys. So these guys are normally so clean, but now they're pushing as hard as they can. There's Yuzi trying to go up the inside, making up for the mistake in qualifying. Has he done it? Yeah, he runs Farfborough wide, and there comes Selheim in the Sauber. He's down the inside, and he's... Oh, Farfborough's getting pinned around like a pinball right now. Oh, dearie me. But in all of this is really helping Smelly Badger, who's gone even faster ahead, and he's off the line. He's gained 1 position, and T. Jonas gained 2. And Gamey thinks he's going to be furious with the race 1 winner as he pulls into the pit lane. He hit me at turn 1. I'm so angry with you. That's what he'll be yelling in the helmet to the Force India garage. Normally it's 2 Force Indias hitting each other. Daibush gets a 5-second stop-go penalty. And I tell you what, this has been a very messy start to the race here for 29 laps of racing round here at Bahrain. So Solheim trying to hold back against, he's trying to attack and defend at once. A school driver aiming to do that as well. Here on board with Farfborough, he's going down the inside. Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo-esque move. But it's still lots of contact. The drivers have got to calm down a lot. Because, no, you can't do reel-to-reel racing like that. No wheel banging. You got to let him through now, Farfborough. He brake checked him through there. This is going to get very messy in the stewarding room after the race as normal. As I remind the drivers, anyone is listening, if you have an issue, do not hash it out in the chat. We don't need that. Here comes... Oh, dear. What are you doing, Petter? What are you doing, man? You're going to run out of road. No DRS active yet. This is all down to drivers who are pushing as hard as they can right now on lap 1. Here comes Solheim down the inside of Farfborough. He makes the move stick. Farfborough going for the switchback though. First Farfborough making around. He does. Brilliant, inspired move from the Red Bull driver. Oh, big contact between the Sauber and the Red Bull. And the Red Bull sent spinning and the Sauber sent spinning. Oh no, this is a very messy race. And is that going to be a virtual safety car for any debris on track? Going to go reward now with Blood and Sand, so he gets passed by Linnell, who's now hunting down Invader Zippo. Oh, I can't even get a second to breathe. Teammates going at it now. Someone who's testing himself in the league. He goes down the inside. And what on earth happened there? I'm very confused what is happening in this race right now. There's a Renault on the inside of... There we go. Blood and Sand having to brake for the pit lane. Now on board with... Oh, tell you what, Solheim is going to... There's a lot of anger right now. I can feel it in the cars. Podge is now having to defend from Invader Zippo. Zippo tries to go around the outside, but then darting to the inside. Podge running himself off the track, running himself even further off the track. Ooh, Podge, keep control over that Renault, and he did. Well done to Podge. He did a good job at defending, holding onto that car when he ran onto the gravel and lost a lot of grip. But now he's got to make up time and catch up with Zippo in the Red Bull. In the Toro Rosso. I'm so used to saying Red Bull these days. So he's getting round to go. Oh, no moves at all. I wouldn't call it bad driving. I just call it boys coming out of the. Oh, look at that, driving wounded as well for Racing Podge. I wouldn't call it bad driving. I just call it a little bit of pent-up aggression on the grid, everyone pushing as hard as they can, and unfortunately it ended up in collisions. So obviously the supers will be busy, but I wouldn't put any blame on any drivers so far. I believe that we'll have to see it from every angle at this point. So right now we're looking at Racing Podge trying to hunt down Zippo, but he's going out wide. He's damaged his car pretty hard, aiming to go as quickly as possible. We're going to change onto strategy options now, down here onto tyres as he pushes to try and get back his position. But we're going to keep an eye on Petter Solheim and Blood and Sands, because that seemed to be a clear-cut incident between the two of them. DRS has been enabled. It wasn't enabled in the previous lap, so Zippo has got to defend from Podge. Skimming the grass a little bit for Toro Rosso. Is the Renault going to be closing in? He's closing in fast. He's in mode 5 for ERS. No, he's not. He's in mode 2. Mode 3, I can't tell the difference, to be honest, at this point in time. So these two are going to be going at it for the rest of the lap here. Toro Rosso versus Renault. Used to provide engines for one team. Now they went for Honda. Big snap of Racing Podge, getting a 3 seconds, penalty down to running wide and gaining time. He's gaining, but not able to pass Zippo as of yet. We're going to go down to Petter Solheim now. Petter Solheim pushing as hard as he can. So welcome to all people who are viewing this race for the first time. It was a very messy start, which is unfortunate, but look at the speed that T. Jonas has got right now. Oh, what is that? That was a very late move from the Sauber driver, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad he didn't get past there, because that was not on. That dive bomb there from Solheim. I believe that the stewards will be talking about driver standards at this race as well to drivers, and reminding them they can't all dive bomb at every corner as he passes Blood and Sands. Here's T. Jonas though. T. Jonas, who was involved in contact at the start of the race and destroyed Gaining Things race from pole position, is now hunting down Smelly Badger, who started in second place, going as fast as he can to try and get past and reclaim the pole position that he wanted but didn't get this race. He is the only race winner in Season 3 right now. He's pushing hard. He's got DRS open. ERS flowing through the car as he pulls to the inside, going down, braking hard, and Smelly Badger just doesn't have the tyre life yet to fight back. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys go and what is going to be happening later on. So we're going to jump down to Blood and Sands and Solheim. This seems to be the most grudge-filled battle on the track right now, as we keep an eye on Solheim's driving standards. He seems to be darting around a little bit. It might be down to lag this night. Tonight. And you see Blood and Sands coasting into that corner, not wanting to get too close to the car as he hunts down. So DRS now open on the Red Bull. Got an awful camera angle there, so we're going to go back to T-camera. Moves to the inside of the track. Is he going to squeeze him even more? He does not. Here we go into turn 1. Who's brave on the brake? It's Solheim, who cuts across the nose of the Red Bull and tries hard not to make any more contact. But look at the washer dirty, and the tyres are starting to go off on Solheim's car. Don't know why he put on the super softs after he's already made a stop in this race. Quite interesting strategy going for, I believe that'll be a 3-stop race, because he'll have to stop twice more here in Bahrain as the light begins to fade here, and we head towards the nighttime. And, oh, big drift on the Sauber as it pushes hard. So, gonna go on board now with Yuzi. It seems that Smelly Badger's not damaged car, I believe Smelly Badger's car is starting to struggle. I think he might have burnt his tyres out pretty early in the race. He pulls towards the pit lane. He's in the pit lane, and look at that, Yuzi getting his slipstream and ploughing himself forward to try and up himself and try and face off against the charging Sauber in P1. Here comes. That is the Red Bull pushing hard to try and get past the Sauber. I tell you what, it's not a Red Bull up front trying to chase after the Sauber, it's a Mercedes, but this is the closest battle we got with Red Bull and Sauber. DRS is going to be activated on the main straight, and we saw how good Pedal was at defending, as that's claimed as a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as most of the super soft runners come in now for their optionally one and only stop. So, DRS is open on the Red Bull, and look at the slipstream speed that Solheim has. Sector 1, we got a yellow flag. Who is that? Yellow flag now. I'm not sure who that was at all. I don't believe it was Morad. Yeah, Morad's still out of this race as Solheim's going very deep into turn 1, very snapping around quite a bit. He must be running such low wings. He's drifting around the corners every 5 minutes here. But these guys aren't, as S. Graham has now dropped all the way down. He had to serve his stop-go. No, Farfborough has a stop-go penalty right now, which sucks for Farfborough. And Smelly Badger, the man who was in pole position for 5 laps of this Grand Prix. Do apologise for my belching into the microphone, trying hard not to do it. Look at that, both going as deep as possible. Here comes Dibouche now, opening all the taps on his Ferrari. Look at that, DRS open, pushing as hard as he can to try and get past the Renault. Is he going to pull to the inside and try it into this corner? He does not. He's learnt from another league not to try it there. But Blood and Sands now can't catch up to Solheim. So this is interesting. More importantly, though, the battle we have on track right now is between the Ferrari and the Renault. Ferrari going wide, not massively wide, just using a lot of curb now to try and close in on him. Look at Solheim in the background, losing the back end as he tries his hardest to keep it on track. He just seems to have no wing to be able to drive himself into corners. But look at Smelly Badger pulling away already on the straight. ERS mode up into overtake for Dibouche as he tries to get past him. But more importantly, that sounds horrible. But here goes the Red Bull now on the Sauber. He darts to the inside, darts to the outside, gives in the fake. He goes into the old hunch fake, as I call it. Oh, it's the late move from. Oh, I tell you what, that's questionable, because he just jumped into his slipstream and just forced him off the track. He scared him off the track. The Sauber, Peter Solheim, is not giving up, and they're fighting for 1 point tonight. At this point in time, you see Blood and Sands is starting to get frustrated with the driver ahead of him. He's thinking, I can go so much quicker than this, but I'm getting stuck behind him. But numbers 15, Red Bull, still haven't had a chance to talk to the Red Bulls about using the same number. Please don't. I don't know. I go off numbers half the time. Another one of my trademark silly voices on the middle of the stream. As we watch the Red Bulls still trying to pass the Sauber, this seems to be an age-old battle that's going to continue for a while. Look at Solheim getting such a better drive. And see the dirty air affecting Blood and Sands all the way through that SS section in Sector 2. You don't want to have dirty air, but if you do, you're going to have to deal with the oversteer and with the understeer, sorry, that you're going to get from the car ahead. So this is a corner where Graham crashed. Don't want to push it too hard on this lap. Look at Solheim. He's spending more time off the track than he is on the track at this rate, and spending more time with his rear end tyres trying to be in front of his front ones. As Blood and Sands seems to be very much planted in that Red Bull as you're hunting down the Sauber. No, sorry, not the Toro Rosso. Coming around, the Smelly Badger takes the crown for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix right now on lap 8. Blood and Sands getting a brilliant exit from the final corner, heading towards T1. He's got his eyes on 10th place, 1 point on the prize, but he just can't close in on Solheim at this point. Oh, he clipped the curb with his rear tyre, and that's all she wrote right now. Oh, he's lost a lot of time to clipping that corner, and he's cost him quite a bit, because that's what happens. You just lose it there, and you'll spin your tyre. Spin up if you're not careful, as I try and remember how to talk. It should tell you what, though, that wasn't a gift I was born with. I just learned how to do it. There's a Ferrari going through. That is Dibouche. Obviously, one Ferrari out of this race before he's... Oh, Solheim's lost it pretty heavily. How did that happen? I'm looking on my replay now as the Ferrari comes through, and he just loses it. So, Solheim, has he pushed his tyres to the absolute limit of what they can do, and Blood and Sands coming right at the inside. That was quite a spectacular spin for the Sauber driver, and Blood and Sands must have had trouble as race leader pits now. The other Sauber driver falls into pit lane, so we can see what tyre choice he goes on to. I'm assuming it'll be the soft tyres. No, it's the medium tyres going on to the Sauber. That is a brave choice. Yeah, medium tyres. A brave choice for the car, for T. Jonas. I wouldn't have run the medium tyres here. It will be interesting because those tyres seem to just not be up to speed. Sector 2 and 3, we have yellow flags. I believe that's down to Peder. Yeah, that's Peder Solheim. You cooked your tyres too much, mate, and you caused yourself a lot of pain. So he's got that, yeah, you can see the understeer he's got in the car. He's heated up those rear tyres to an absolute crawl. Let's open up the heads up. No, we're not going to open the heads up display because here comes to the Renault on the other Sauber who's just coming to the pit lane. And T. Jonas pushing his hardest now to try and stay ahead. But Racing Pod has the momentum. He has heated tyres and he has the quicker tyres right now. See T. Jonas, look at how slow they are through here. Trying not to get oversteer or understeer at all. This is obviously where one Sauber lost it. Will T. Jonas be able to get past will be able to stay ahead of Racing Portugal? We're going to find out now as we head into the trickiest braking zone on the Formula 1 calendar at the point in time. He's having a look. He does not do. I'll tell you what, that Renault is still holding that. Oh, that Renault. Tough start. What the hell? Where's Jonas? I missed that. It seems that T. Jonas went even wider. And I'll tell you what, Porsche has gone, thank you very much. I'll have that position. But remember, Racing Porsche is driving wounded. He has a chunk of his front wing missing. And T. Jonas is trying to get past him, and it won't be hard at this rate because he's spending a lot of time off track, not as much as the Sauber driver was earlier on in the race. But here comes, he's gone. Yeah, he's letting through. So it might have been that he decided that he made contact with him, and he just thought, you know what, to limit anything, I'm going to let him through. But look who's closing in. It's Gaming Things, the man who started on pole position and was punted off by this man here, T. Jonas, from what I saw. And it seemed to be a very messy start, and Bahrain's turn 1 seems to always be messy. We'll obviously see what happens in the Premier Division. That's happening later tonight, and they'll have a try at Bahrain later on. And if you stick around the SpeedForce Racing YouTube channel, you'll see them go for an absolute belter. More importantly, though, we're watching the battle on track as Gaming Things now closes in on Racing Podge, trying to get past the Renault as the Force India shining that pink sky to match the pink car here in Bahrain. The race leader right now is Yuzi with 10 laps in and 20 laps left to go. So Yuzi from Farfborough, from SFR Linel and Invader Zippo, his first time out in this league. Then T. Jonas and Racing Podge in 5th and 6th. Then Gaming Things here on screen in 7th, though we won't see if he's in 7th for much longer because Podge has gone very wide and Farfborough gets another penalty to add to his 5-second stop and go penalty, which he'll be very annoyed about. He's on lineups in these tyres, and I think that will be a killer once he comes to the pit lane, thinking he'll go for the overcut on everyone else, but he won't be due to that penalty. Then right now in 8th place is Smelly Badger, who's got another damaged front wing, so Renault running 2 damaged front wings in this race. Then Daibush in 9th, ahead of Blood and Sands in 10th. Outside of the top 10 right now, we have S. Graham, Peder Solheim and Morad, but Morad didn't even start the race due to, I believe, an internet issue, which has knocked him out of this Grand Prix. So we are going to go on board with Podge. I know we've been on board with him quite a lot today, but we're going to see what can happen later on in this race. Smelly Badger, his Renault teammate, taking the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Now he's closing up. This will be interesting to see if the Renault pair will swap places as Podge is running a wounded car. Tell you what, the amount of understeer he's getting on that car, he's going to have to come in a pit soon for those new tyres and that new wing. That is definitely going to be struggling through the S's with. Here on board now with Smelly Badger, the man starting in 2nd place tonight, and he's pushing as hard as he can. I'll tell you what, a black and orange flag will be in order on that car because he's just understeering everywhere, but we can't give those flags out. And look at the difference as he darts to the inside, making a late choice to let his teammate through. Was that Cyril Abittal telling them to get out of the way? Not too sure, but that was a very late decision from Podge to let him through in a position where you didn't expect him to. So here we're going to go on board with the Sauber driver of, why is S. Graham still AI'd? S. Graham has gone into AI mode, not sure what it is, but look at, tell you what, Peder Solheim seems to be making some very rash moves tonight. here in Bahrain. So maybe it's just a Bahrain circuit that he's got it all riled up. Oh, Yuzi and Farfra coming to the pit lane. But this is the killer. The 5-second stop and go penalty for the Red Bull. And he's gonna be so angry that he shouldn't have had to serve that really, because he was forced out wide, but he did. So the number 15, two of the number 15s, but one of the number 15, Farfra, pushing is going to be on the back foot now as Zippo pulls into pit lane for a new front wing and a set of super soft tyres. Let's go on board with T. Jonas now, who's now pushing to get past Yuzi, who's just pitted. So Mercedes power versus Alfa Romeo Ferrari power going round the outside. Is he going to try? He decides not to try it round the outside, and he's pushing as hard as he can to pass the Mercedes. Obviously he got an undercut on him, but through this section is basically impossible unless you see a mistake from the other, whoa, he's gone for it. He's absolutely gone for it out of nowhere, but he's got a hand back position because he made contact. He is handing it back, is he? Yes, he is. I suddenly sound like a sheep. Back, and he is pushing as hard as he can, but Gamey Things is right behind him. Gamey Things hasn't stopped since lap 1 now, and Gamey Things is going to want revenge for lap 1, not going to punt him off those, because Gamey knows he has to be as clean as he can. Clean as you like, mate. You know you're quicker right now as T. Jonas is pushing, but he can't attack and defend at once. You just can't in this track. He seems to be struggling, but here comes Gamey Things, the pink driver in the pink car at the circuit with the pink sky, pushing as hard as he can. Gaming Things is heading towards the podium. He can see it ahead of him, but he seems to have a little bit less straight line speed than everyone else, or he's saving ERS and starting to save his tyres. He's done 10 laps in these tyres after stopping early. You see Yuzi pulling to the inside early. T. Jonas following him. Gamey deciding not to. So we're going to go on board with T. Jonas. That is a question. Yeah, well, yeah, he's not right behind him, so he can't just break the toe like that. T. Jonas so much braver on the brakes, so much braver on the brakes, to the point that Yuzi is now under threat, but Yuzi getting a much better line out of that, almost like a slingshot out of turn 1 and 2. But S. Graham has left the session, so not sure what that is down to. Have to be investigated if his car's still going around the circuit, which, yeah, I can still select it, so he's still going around the circuit right now. That will be questionable by the stewards unless he's pitted, and I don't think he has pitted, as you're only allowed in this league to if you're not racing, if you don't feel like racing anymore, pull into the pit lane and retire. And that has been a rule that's set for a while now to try and limit the ghosts that appear on track to distract the drivers. So DRS open on the Force India. He starts to close in on T. Jonas, but T. Jonas trying to close in on Yuzi, who is trying to close in on SFR Lee now, who's currently leading the race. So we're getting as S. Graham rejoins the race, so he's decided that he wants to rejoin the race, and he hasn't had any issues so far in this Grand Prix. He's pushing, he's going to be a little bit on the back foot, but his tyres will have saved a little bit of life as the AI would have been driving him. Just got to message one of our Premier drivers as he's asking me a question. I've got to actually do this on stream. I do apologise. Normally I don't, but I have to. So, Farfra taking the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in P6 as Diabush falls into the pit lane. AC Gaming Thing now trying to catch up to T. Jonas, but there's a train forming as, Invader Zippo goes fastest now on the super soft tyres. You see now, there is Blood and Sand, there is Farfra, sorry, Smelly Badger, and Gaming Things trying to chase after T. Jonas. These are all three very quick drivers trying to chase after another very quick driver. Do apologise. Look at this overspeed that Smelly Badger has right now, trying to catch up. Has Gaming Things' tyres started to fade? Those tyres are definitely fading as he can't stay close to T. Jonas. And here comes Smelly Badger. Is he going to try it down the inside of this corner? He does not. But that's Farfra closing in on him. These all obviously had issues on the first lap. DRS open on all three cars. Is it going to be pink on yellow on blue, or is it going to be pink on blue on yellow? Almost contact as I turn into a pigeon. Turn into a crow as Farfra tries to get past a Renault. This is going to be 3 wide, I believe, into turn 1 if they're not careful. Gaming Things pulled into the inside. Smelly Badger off the track. Here comes Farfra. They're already trying to get ready to 3 wide. This is going to be fantastic. Is it going to move into the final corner? Here comes Farfra. He's done a dive bomb. He's sold in one, and he almost clipped his front wing. Almost. They're 2 wide. 2 wide right now. Gaming Things peels into pit lane. I'm not having any part of this. I'm pitting. racing. So here come, they both got DRS in a drag race in the turn 1. It's Renault Power on Renault Power. Here comes the Red Bull. He's ahead right now. Red Bull just nosing ahead of the Smelly Badger. Smelly Badger now nosing back in front, and the Red Bull gains it, but Smelly Badger comes from the inside. No, and he doesn't manage it. As I now finally get a second to breathe. Oh, that was a good battle. As you see, the Renault just losing out on the Red Bull, but this is a battle that is not going to end up quickly. These two are going to be absolutely going at it. Racing Podge now is close to boosting the Ferrari, who's just pitted now as they get closer. And you see, I already ruined my voice ahead of Premiere, so this is going to be fantastic for tonight. Who are we on board with? That was Smelly Badger and Farfra. These two drivers absolutely fighting like this the race of their lives now, aiming to go as deep into this race as they can on these tyres. Obviously, Bloodensand's done 12 laps on those soft tyres, pushing as hard as he possibly can to pass the other drivers. It's going to take a moment to rest my voice as we listen to the engines whir on these cars as you watch the Renault trying to hunt down the Red Bull. The Red Bull that had a massive scrap at the last lap at turn 1. Oh, the Red Bull's gone wide. Farfra's going wider and wider each lap. Unfortunately, I think that was down to an understeer issue on his car, but he's got so much straight line speed that he's able to go through. His Peter Solheim gains a 3-second time penalty for driver lead corner cutting. So a little bit outside the DRS range, and he doesn't get DRS this time on the Red Bull, and I think Farfra's tyres, the younger tyres, are just starting to edge closer towards passing T. Jonathan now in the Sauber. As look at that slingshot movement for the Red Bull, pushing as hard as he can from all the drivers. Sector 2 and 3, yellow flags. Who is that? Is that S. Graham? I'll have a look. S. Graham's still ghosted, but he hasn't rejoined his car. Sector 2 and 3, who's that? That's ahead of us. Sector 3, who is it? I have no idea who that is. No. So that is Lienel right now locking up into turn 1. Oh, good catch from Lienel. Oh, big crash as he laps S. Graham, who is not in his car, even though he's rejoined the session. That's a bit odd that the game might not let him return to his car. As now Farfra is closing in on T. Johns. Is he going to be able to do what Gaming Things couldn't do, who's now back down in 8th place? And he is still going to be angry after lap 1 with the issue with T. Johns, who tried it a little bit too ambitiously into turn 1. Obviously, you can't win the race at turn 1. You can't win the race on lap 1. But apparently, these drivers thought they could tonight. See, this race has been very messy, but it's brewing some good battles. As you see, Farfra pushing for his second podium in SpeedForce racing. It's not that he wants to go even faster than. He wants to up what he did last time, which is go for P2 at least after he got third last time in Australia. So Lienel pulls into the pit lane. The final driver to have not stopped pulls into the pit lane ahead. The only driver not to have stopped yet pulls into the pit lane. There's S. Graham. He's back in his car. T. Johnson made a mistake. Oh no, he's pushing him through turn 1. He pushed him absolutely through. Now who's where? T. Jonas and Farfra, down the inside. And who's brave on the brakes? It's Farfra. Cuts across the nose of that Toro Rosso, saying, "I will take that. Thank you very much." As his Red Bull teammate pits for the third time. Sector 3, yellow flags. That's Racing Podge out of this Grand Prix. Let's go on board with. Oh God, I can't find him. S. Graham, who is down here. A virtual safety car has been deployed. All the drivers slowing down for, I think, that big accident that has cost Racing Podge his race. Oh my goodness me. Let's run through the grid order quickly now. So Yuzi in P1, Farfra in P2, T. Johns in P3, Smelly Badger in P4, Invader Zippo in P5, Lienel in P6, Gaming Things in P7, Blood and Sands in P8, Daibouche in P9, a safety car ends, DRS is re-enabled, and Peter Solheim in P10, S. Graham in P12. Going to close back up now to Smelly Badger, who's aiming to get past T. Johns once more. Gained a lot of time in the virtual safety car, as obviously the gaps aren't big. See the Toro Rosso pairing, they should be talking, "Hey, let me through, I've just pitted, let me through." The the Sauber going wide, as now we're watching Smelly Badger trying to close up on the Sauber, who is trying to close up on the Red Bull, who is trying to close up on Yuzi, who is leading this Grand Prix. Farfra is in the frame to win this Grand Prix. Any of these drivers can win this Grand Prix right now, as we watch these two go at it. The two Toro Rossos, are they going to start battling, or is that going to be a move into the final corner? No, there is not So, who's doing what? The medium tyres are still a thing. I think there was yellow flags for a briefest of seconds as the DRS opens on the Toro Rosso. Shouldn't be much defence from his teammate as he pulls to the inside and makes the move stick so far. 72 versus 22, and 72 been told, go ahead, you've just pitted. Oh, but he's coming back at him, giving us a little bit of a show for Toro Rosso drivers. And I think, as we pass the marshals' heads, that is all she wrote right now. It might be that Zippo's going to come back at him. No, he decides not to, making the quote-unquote smart decision here tonight. So 2 DNFs, well, 1 DNF and 1 did not start to this Grand Prix, and that is Racing Podge and Morad. It'd be interesting to hear what happened with Racing Podge. I believe it must have been the auto spin corner in Sector 3. So we're watching the Toro Rossos try and go at it. Lee now trying to defend his 4th place. There'll be 2 4th places on the trot if he gets this, but I believe that, oh, he's a big lockup from the driver running the medium tyres. DRS opening, and the Toro Rossos, they've got no choice but to overtake each other. Give us a good show, lads, as they're pushing hard. Zippo going to try and move into this corner, which is very difficult. I can't remember corner numbers. I do apologise. I'll know it when we get to Silverstone, because I've been to that circuit God knows how many times. Oh God, that made me squirm. I thought there was going to be contact there. As Farfborough has been passed by T. Jonas. Was that a mistake as Farfborough pulls into the pit lane? No, that might be Farfborough's. A 10-second time penalty with Peter Solheim. Where is that? Solheim? No, that's not Solheim. That's someone else who's had a trip through the spin. And now it's gamey things. Was that contact between him and the driver ahead, which was Smelly Badger? Was that contact between the two of them? I don't believe it was. I think that might be in the auto spin corner. So Zippo now trying to get past Lee now pulling to the inside to defend. Toro Rosso on Toro Rosso combat. Honda engine combat. Both diving into the first corner as Button Sands takes the faster lap right now, a 1:30.6. These two are the closest battle on track. His 2 teammates, the man who is testing out SFR for the first time, and the seasoned driver who's been here since season 1. Though, tell you what, the other Red Bull teammates now starting to battle up. Here we go. Is it going to be moved now for Farfborough, who's just pitted onto the medium tyres, versus, whoa, see that? That was a question of, I'm quicker, let me through, without using the radio between the 2 Red Bull drivers. Hopefully we don't get a Baku 2018 combat here in SFR, as we see the Red Bulls now trying to have a look. Understeering everywhere as Farfborough, and Blood and Sands is going to be saying, I'm quicker, let me through, because you're losing time to gaming things behind. Oh, he's rear-ended him just a little bit. Oh no, this is going wrong. This is just like it, and that is Yuzi. That's Yuzi in the Red Bull, in the Ferrari, in the Mercedes, coming to lap them, so there'll be blue flags. Sorry, no, isn't that S. Graham? S. Graham, who's a lap down, is starting to hunt down these guys. But the 2 Red Bull on Red Bull combat is, oh, S. Graham's lost it in the same place as qualifying. Is he going to save it? He does! Just managed to save it out of the gravel, out of everything, as Daibush gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. This has been a pretty messy race here as we get onto lap 20, but messy but entertaining, as there's been always something on track brewing. As we're looking here now at Red Bull on Red Bull combat, it's Max Verstappen versus Daniel Ricciardo, Blood and Sands versus Farfborough, both number 15s going at each other. And I will argue that one of them has to change the number, but I'll message them later about that, as I said I would do after round 1, but I didn't because I forgot. Coming around now up towards the long steep hill is Farfborough going to stay ahead. Blood and Sands closing in just a little bit. No, if anything, he lost time there to Farfborough, who broke much later than him. So we're going to jump up to the Toro Rossos now, who are going to be the next drivers with DRS to be able to pass any of them unless there's a major incident on track. No safety car deployed this race, only the virtual safety car, and that was for Racing Podge's accident, which cost him his drive as he has managed to crash pretty heavily. Gonna try and clear my phone, getting a lot of notifications. I'm a popular guy tonight, as Lee now taking a lot, very different lines through here to try and limit his understeer. We're going to jump back down to the Red Bull pairings. The DRS open on the Red Bull, but not quick enough to take effect against Farfborough, who's obviously just pitted on them. He's only really done 1 lap on those tyres, so his tyres are fresh and going to go very long. He's definitely going to the end now, barring any safety car incidents. Still on board with Blood and Sands. He tries to line up a pass as Invader. Zippo pulls into the pit lane. This is going to give these guys a little bit of a release because they're going to move up the board. His teammate is in P3 right now, 1 better than his race in Australia, which going P4 after contact on the first lap. Closing in now is Blood and Sands, just closing in just a little bit on Farfborough. Farfborough seems to have it locked in ahead as he closes in on the brakes, but Farfborough on those much younger tyres able to go later and accelerate quicker out of the corners as he's getting less wheels in as he got more tread on those tyres. Still there though, just losing 19 thousandths of a second there on that straight, so it seems that Farfborough's strategy is more built for straight line speed versus the cornering speed that Blood and Sands seems to be able to carry just a little bit more. As you see this beautiful helicopter shot as the Red Bulls go at it for 5th and 6th in this Grand Prix. So on lap 21, leading us is Yuzi ahead of T. Jonas, ahead of Lee Nell. That's our podium sorted at this moment. Then it's Smelly Badger, Farfborough, and Blood and Sands, who we're watching right now, this battle here on track as the Red Bulls try and close up to each other. Then it's Gamey Things, our pole sitter, down in 7th, ahead of Daibush in 8th. And Vader Zippo, who's just pitted in 9th, pushing out for, I think, the fastest lap and try and pass everyone on the Super Soft tyres, pulling a Charles Leclerc in the sprint race. Then it's Peder Solheim in 10th, and that's the final point going to Peder after a pretty messy race from him, personally, in my opinion. Then it's S. Graham is the only driver out of the top 10 as Racing Podge and Morad are out of this race, racing Morad before it even started. But even closer now is Blood and Sands. DRS open. The DRS will definitely be in effect now as he pulls to the inside now. Sharp turn now. Any Red Bull or Red Bull contact will be treated as an interesting query. Oh no, he's run over the curb and he's spat up the tyres even more. He's forced and squeezed towards the curb. And tell you what, Red Bulls are going to be absolutely tearing each other's hair out tonight as they're going to be on the flight back together to wherever the hell they're from. The Scotsman still trying to follow the Englishman in the Ferraris. Oh, it's been a long week as the Red Bulls are trying to pass each other now, trying to defend each other for 5th and 6th. So coming into the tricky braking zone, who's got it better? Blood and Sands seems to nail every apex there and more as he gets a good run out of that corner. He's dropped 2 temps. He's got DRS open. He's got ERS open, but he's in saving mode, so he's not going to try for he's going to try and save it. As blue flags are being waved as Farfborough gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So Farfborough will, I believe, have that 5 seconds taken off his time for that stop at the end of the race. Pushing hard now is, both Red Bulls, but Zippo now is closing in on Daibush. We're going to have a look at that battle in a minute, try and switch up what we're seeing on stream, because 2 Red Bulls going around in tandem gets a bit boring after a while, even though they're trying to attack each other. So, is ERS going to start draining on the front? We're going to, you know what, we're going to turn on our heads-up display for this one. ERS still charging on the Red Bull of Blood and Sands as he tries to get closer to his teammate, aiming for his teammate to make a mistake, but Zippo is the fastest man on track. Going to go on board with the Toro Rosso driver. He's not got much ERS either, so we're going to turn off the heads-up display now as he has a look down the inside of Daibush from so far back that he'd be just barreling into his side pod, which isn't fair, obviously, on either driver. But you see, these two are going to be interesting to see how much quicker Zippo is. And right now, he's very much quicker on these super soft tyres. The Red Bull tyres that he has stopped, I think, 3 times in this Grand Prix. Let's have a look. No, 2 times in this Grand Prix. So everyone apart from the top 3 right now stopping 2 times. Will Zippo be able to pass Daibush and charge for a higher finish in this race? He's within a second right now of Daibush, and he opens the DRS now, pushing fast to try and get past the Italian team, the Ferrari team, the most successful team in Formula 1, but still not the prettiest. I still think that McLaren are always going to be the prettiest. So, lap 25 right now. This is the closest battle we have on track at this point in time between Invader Zippo and Daibush. The Ferrari, who seems to be doing a good job on the medium tyres, but Zippo has done 2 laps on these super soft tyres, pushing as hard as he can to get past him. He's having a look every corner he can get now. The Italian cars going at it on the grid today. 1 Ferrari, we had 2, but 1 Ferrari. DRS open as the wing snaps open. Whoa, aggressive defence move there from Daibush. Very late defence move. But he's not put much defence. It seems that he tried to catch Zippo out to move that far, and very aggressive move. But Daibush managed to hold it off So, as said last week, we will not have podium interviews for a while as I try and get acclimatized to doing these quick double streams every Wednesday here on the YouTube channel. If you feel like having a subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated, so you can pop over, have a nose at what we're doing every Wednesday night from 7:20 to I think about 10 o'clock it was when we finished last week. I don't too much remember. I think I went to bed straight afterwards as the Ferrari driver clumsily tries to close up on everyone else. Trying to close up on Invader Zippo, but I believe that will be pretty much impossible as Zippo's got so much younger tyres than him. He's got like, what is that, 8 laps younger tyres, so that will be pretty much for naught. So, back to the Red Bull battle. I know, it's a shock that we're back here, but Sector 1 and 3, that's Daibush! No! Daibush, who we just switched off, has crashed. I believe that was at the autospin corner, and we will keep an eye on that in a second, so we can see that the anti-lag symbol has popped up on Farfra's car as Blood and Sand starts to close in on the medium tyre driver. He's had a look, but he hasn't gone for a big Danny Rick dive bomb. We're going to pop down to Pedder, see if he's seen it yet. No, he hasn't. I believe we, to be honest, the car would have despawned by now. So I'm assuming it was for the auto spin corner, which sucks for Daibush. He was doing such a good race. So no points for Ferrari this race after a stunning performance into P2 last week. Ferrari, no points for them, but double points currently for Sauber, double points potentially for Red Bull, double points for Red Bull, double points for Toro Rosso, one singular set of points for Renault, and one singular point for Mercedes at this point in time. So lap 25 here with 5 laps to go. We're on board with the Red Bulls once more as they try and close in as Peter Solheim becomes the fastest man on track with a 1:30.3 in the Alfa Romeo. On board now, well, not on board, still following the fight between the Red Bulls. These two not gonna hold off and not gonna crash into each other, hoping to prove that they are better than Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo were at Baku, which we have coming up in a few weeks. Stay tuned if you want to watch Baku, and I'm gonna definitely be excited for that one because I do love a bit of Baku. Just trying here to see if a duel in the desert will happen with some Red Bulls. They're getting close. DRS open on Blood and Sands. A Scotsman closing in on the undescript man. I believe he's English. Farfra heading towards it. The Scotsman pulls to the inside. He's had a look. It doesn't go down the inside. Skips that curb again at turn 1, which is a killer. You hit that curb too hard, you get a spin out and crash. And I'll tell you what, Blood and Sands has struggled with that all race long. See now Farfra is pushing as hard as he possibly can to try and stay ahead of his teammate for, well, measly peanuts, but it's still points in the bag that will move him up the table for being consistent in these championship. It's only round 2 here, and the championship leader is in P2, but I believe there'll be a sword of Damocles over his head as he barrel rolled and smashed into Gaming Things at turn 1. Oh, here we go. Daibush has said that he deserves... Oh, you know what? We'll go through that in a minute. As Blood and Sands trying to get past Farfra, closing up so much. Daibush has said that he deserves a DNF after T1 on lap 1. Dyer, can you just elaborate, that's the word, on that comment in the chat, please? And obviously, if you rear-ended someone and set someone into it, it should be investigated by the stewards, and to be honest, it probably will be after that start, as some of the stewards are in there. Sector 2 and 3, that's a split. That's down at the spinner. I believe that's just a spinner. Sector 2 and 3 still. I'm going to go on for the no, it's not Pedder. Is it Zippo? It is Zippo. No, is it? No, it's not Zippo. Who is that? Maybe that's Graham. Sorry, he was spinning. I do apologise for the assumptions on everyone. As you see, Blood and Sand just can't pass Farfra. And it seems that these cars are turning into Mercedes cars, so they just can't pass each other, which is unfortunate for them. So the Red Bulls still trying to fight each other once more. Here we go. I think it's a line for Daibush. I think I was daydreaming and smashed through half the field. Oh dear. I definitely hit Farfra. Okay, this will be investigated by the stewards just because you've admitted it on stream. Thank you for making the stewards' life a little bit easier. So, Daibush is going to be investigated by the stewards, I believe. It could be that we don't have to put something through. But I think that, as you've admitted on stream, it will have a special construct. And I think, to be honest, if you said you smash through half the field will probably look at you and go, yeah, we're going to have a chat with the stewards. So, with Daibush's retirement, that's pushed S. Graham, though he's a lap down, back into 10th place. And on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, right now, Yuzi is going to be ahead of T. Jonas. So we're going to run through the race right now. So right now it's Yuzi on lap 28, heading on to lap 29 in P1. Then then in P2 is T. Jonas. Then Lionel in P3, a brilliant race from him after being knocked out of the top 10. Then Smelly Badger in P4, then Farfbra in P5, ahead of his teammate Valensant in P6, who seems to have backed off and accepted P6 at this point in the race. Then Gaming Things in P7, our pole sitter, he's definitely not going to be happy after that race. P8 is Zippo, and P9 is Peder Solheim, and P10, our last finisher, is S. Graham, who's a lap down. But this all will not be over, as do we have penalties to apply at the end of the race on the game and off the game on the Facebook page, which you can have a look at, and we will be posting a little bit more about everything later on in the race. And everything at all. So Yuzi now coming around to have a pretty faultless Grand Prix from where he started. I can't remember for the life of me where he started. Let's have a look at this. Let's go back to oh, that's not right. That's not right either. Where is it? He's climbed 10 places, so he started in 9th place, and he's done fantastic. He might not start in 9th place, he might start in 10th place. Sorry, I'm having a moment where I can't remember what people are. So the final lap of the Grand Prix right now. And Yuzi leads us around for the final lap, and he has done a fantastic job. And barring any last lap collisions, last lap spins, Yuzi is going to win this Grand Prix. Mercedes' his first win this season, and he becomes the championship contender against T. Jonas, who is going to be in P2 on the road. I believe he should be looked at for some of the moves that was happening tonight. I'm not sure what happened. I think it should be interesting. So Yuzi has been doing a fantastic job. The Scotsman in the Mercedes, lots of Scotsmen, 2 Scottish drivers in the Mercedes team, bookending the top 10 for Mercedes. And what a talented drive from both of these guys tonight. Though S. Graham has since came back to the lobby. Sector 2 and 3, I believe that's down to Zippo again. Let's have a look. It's not Zippo. Is it? Yeah, it's Solheim. Solheim's cooked his tyres even more. But coming up to him now is the race leader. Yuzi is getting ready, and he knows it. You can see the way he's driving. He's twitching a bit. He knows he's going to win this Grand Prix barring anything. Daibush has left the session knowing that he's currently in here watching the stream with us, and we'll have a look at this message in a minute. But here we go. Rounding the final corner, Yuzi is going to win in SpeedForce Racing. He knows it, and he's going to get ready to push as hard as he can. He crosses the line now, and Yuzi wins. But we're going to look as T. Jonas finishes in second. We've got 10 seconds until the Toro Rosso takes third place from Smelly Badger. It's Lionel, but we're on board with the other Toro Rosso, who's aiming to get past Gaming Things on the last lap of the Grand Prix. I don't think he's going to do it though. It might be a drag race. His Gaming Things made a mistake in the final corner, but Gaming Things is a little bit far ahead. He doesn't make a mistake. He nails it, and that sector 2 and 3, I believe that's down to Peder again. Crossing the line there is Zippo and Gaming Things, and Peder is not having an incident. Was that Graham then? I believe, yeah, S. Graham's cooked his tyres, as shown by the fact that he's drifting around the corners. So there's Peder Solheim there, and that, as we're going to actually go on board with Yuzi now and have a look at the man who just won the Grand Prix from, I believe, 10th place on the grid. Do apologise if I go a little bit quiet as I put something in the chat. So that was a very messy Grand Prix as we watch Yuzi now come across and ready to take his first win now. All the drivers obviously a little bit stressed now as Yuzi stands there, the Scotsman taking the win in SpeedForce ahead of T. Jonas, championship leader. And this is going to be a very controversial race, as the stewards are going to have a lot of work to do. A very messy Grand Prix now. So I'm just going to... We're obviously going to be rounding off the stream very soon, as we'll have the Premier Division coming out at the end of the Grand Prix, and that is down to the Split Division. I'm not sure how many drivers are currently in. Going to drivers out in Premier tonight, so we'll have a look at that later. Lots of penalties applied, and it's going to be interesting now. Smelly Badger leave for session. So we're going to head back to the lobby. Obviously, we have China next week for GP2, which is going to be a fantastic time. Obviously, China, a track that famously has some great racing involved, and it's going to be a fantastic time. And Linel rounding off the podium ahead of behind T. Johns and Yuzi. Yuzi taking a brilliant win for tonight. So we're going to round off the stream right now. That's just down to the fact that I need to run downstairs, get a drink, and push as hard as I can for Premier. So stay with the YouTube channel for Premier Division. That's coming up in just a few minutes, and we're going to see who will be racing there tonight. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope for a fact that I will see you again soon. Well, if you join us for Premier, drop us a message. Hey, I was in GP2. Pop over and say hi to me and the Premier guys who will be pushing as hard as they can. Good night, guys, if you don't join us for Premier, and well done to Yuzi for a good win. I'll see you guys in just a mo.